What is up, people? Showing up the king, the one and only, and I'm here to bring you my review for Young Justice episode 16. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break down things for you first, give you a quick overview, and then I'll get into the nitty gritty. This episode had three storylines going on. The main overarching storyline, which involves Black Manta, Sportsmaster, Cheshire, Aqualad, Miss Martian, and Cheshire, along with Slade, aka Deathstroke. That storyline is the main focus of this episode. The subsection of the episode had to do with Green Beetle, Blue Beetle, and the Reach. And then we had a solo thing going on with Nightwing doing his Batman detective thing. Overall, I thought the episode was really solid, but I'll get into that a little bit later. Let's start off by talking about the Nightwing sub story. Basically, the Blue Beetle and Green Beetle, we pick up on War World, which is still hovering outside of Earth's atmosphere like a second moon. Um, what ends up happening is it looks like Blue Beetle transported the entire team after he knocked them all out somehow to get rid of them. I'm assuming it's a boom tube he used, because when Nightwing came in, he scanned the area. He could definitely tell that there had been boom tube activity. Now, what happened to Mongol, I'm not sure, because, again, Mongol may have been knocked out, but I'm pretty sure he should have woken up by now. So maybe they used, I don't know what they did with him, but hopefully we'll figure that out soon. Nightwing basically, is trying to, he's asking good questions, but, he's still not 100% convinced. Blue Beetle and Green Beetle end up leaving, and Nightwing stays behind and does his own Batman detective work, which is fantastic, because I feel like the second half of this season we haven't seen a lot of Nightwing, and Nightwing is so awesome. The more Nightwing we can see, the better. So he ends up doing a lot of research, and he actually gets back to the escape bay where the battle actually happens. He's examining the ground where you can see Blue Beetle's when he has his little talons out. You can see the scratch marks. You can see where he destroyed the bay, where Arsenal destroyed the airlock to get out. And he also found one of Robin's batarangs, and he scanned it and noticed that Blue Beetle's DNA was all over it. So he took that with him, and he went to go do his investigation work. When we get back to Blue Beetle and Green Beetle, they actually get back to where Blue Beetle is, and we already know that Blue Beetle is a part of the Reach now, and they pretty much have the crystal, and they have all the Young Justice team. Later on in the episode, and I'll get to that later, but let's talk about really quickly what happened with Cheshire, Sportsmaster, and on Manta's ship. So it looks like Sportsmaster and Cheshire are really, really into getting their revenge for Artemis's quote-unquote death. So they actually sneak onto the ship, and when they sneak onto the ship to get the revenge, we've learned that Miss Martian has already fully healed Aqualad, and they're basically trying to plan how they can get off the ship without anyone knowing or blowing their cover. So now that Miss Martian is fully invested into this whole mission of espionage that's going on, they're all trying to work together to try to figure it out. Now what ends up happening is the Sportsmaster and Cheshire break in and start ruining the plan, or actually they ended up helping the plan, because what happens is Cheshire, she breaks into the room with Calder and Miss Martian and attacks them. Now luckily Miss Martian was there, so she was able to prevent Cheshire from killing Aqualad straight out. They end up getting into a scuffle, into a battle, and luckily Miss Martian is able to destroy the camera that Deathstroke was watching them on. So he was pretty much feeding information, and he still had the ability to destroy the ship if Miss Martian found out. But by them destroying the camera, she was able to try and talk to Cheshire. But by the time she got an opportunity to, she had already knocked out Miss Martian. Now the best part of this episode had to have been the battle between Sportsmaster and Black Manta. I must admit, like I said, Deathstroke was one of my favorite villains, but Sportsmaster gets a lot of props this episode. He was using this, it was almost like a medicine ball, or like a shot put. It was basically like a spiked shot put. That's exactly what it was. And if you guys have ever seen Kill Bill Volume 1, there was a Oren, she had a bodyguard, her name was Go-Go, and she had this ball and chain that she swung around. But again, if you're not a Quentin Tarantino fan, you wouldn't get that reference. But anyway, so Sportsmaster is actually fighting Black Manta with this shot put, and he is whooping Black Manta's ass. Like seriously, like Black Manta has these like lasers that he's shooting out. He's missing left and right. Sportsmaster is like nailing him like left and right. It's like beating the brakes off of him. And even with a ship full of Black Manta soldiers, Cheshire is just they're getting handled. Now in this entire confusion, they finally figure out that what happens is I'm going too far. Cheshire ends up releasing the collar from Miss Martian, and then we start the escape process. So we've already had the truth has come out. Sportsmaster and Cheshire realize Artemis is not dead, but they realize that they have to keep their story intact. So what they do is they plan a way to escape without letting anyone find out that they are still undercover. Basically, to make a long story short, they get off the plane. The secret is not blown. Everything is good. Now, what I want to talk about is the relationship between Cheshire and the relationship with Artemis, because I just thought it was really funny that Cheshire was really upset that she thought that her sister was dead. And it's that kind of like that love-hate relationship that you get with family. Even if they piss you off, you're the only one that can really mess with them. You would never want your brother or your sister to be murdered by someone and not take revenge. So I really thought it was cool of Cheshire to go after Aqualad in that way. But also thought it was pretty cool that the relationship between Aqualad and his dad is going to be very strained when he finds out that Aqualad is not actually on his side. So that's going to be another situation that's going to have to be dealt with, and it's not going to be pretty. So it's going to be some problems there. But overall, the last part I want to talk about is Nightwing. Blue Beetle actually stands up with the Reach and acknowledges that he's the one that saved the planet from War World, which was a complete lie. But it did two things. Now, the first thing it did was it showed Nightwing that Blue Beetle is definitely a part of this, because why would Blue Beetle attach himself or align himself with the Reach? That makes no sense. It's almost like he's purposely blowing this cover. And that's the only thing that I would have to say about the episode that actually didn't let me give it a perfect 5, is because it didn't make any sense. Like, if your whole point is to stay undercover as a Blue Beetle, you don't want anyone to know that you are a part of the Reach, maybe you shouldn't be doing public appearances with the Reach. Like, you shouldn't be hanging out with them. It's a known fact that all the Young Justice team members are not cool with the Reach. So for you to sit there and be up on stage with them, you've pretty much blown your cover. It didn't make any sense. Now, the only thing that will happen from this, like if he tries to go back to the team and still try to infiltrate, then that's going to be a bunch of horse shit, because I feel like there's no way Nightwing should trust him after seeing him stand up there with the guy from the Reach. There's just no way. So, but again, I want to know what you guys think. I want you to comment in the section below. Let me know what your thoughts are on the episode. Definitely thumbs up the video if you could. And we will all just sit here and try and enjoy the last season of Young Justice. It's been a good run, but unfortunately it's going to end prematurely. But, thus is life, and that's how Cartoon Network is, you bastards. But anyway, Showing Up the King, the one and only. You guys have a fantastic day.